Us chronically single friends don't get enough credit. Everyone's like, no, you'll find someone eventually. But what about now? What about when I'm around all my friends and I'm seeing all this beautiful love, craving that, wishing I could have that, a simple like hand holding or a kiss on the cheek or the forehead, but I can't. It's the constant bad dates. It's the constant looking. It's the constant like, oh, is this the one? Imagining a future with like all these different people. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I ever will find someone.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
Well, it sounds like a personal problem there, sweet cheeks. I find it rather difficult to believe that with all of the dates you've been on, there weren't some perfectly good dudes between all the bad boys that you desperately want to love you. But regardless of the scenario, you got nobody to blame but yourself for this mess. Whether it's finding some kind of a mundane and superficial excuse to ditch a good guy, or your participation in the modern sport of Chad chasing, or the fact that every time a date doesn't work out in your favor, you throw yourself a good old-fashioned pity shindig in your cat-inhabited apartment, it's the same thing. Your single status was brought forth thanks to the decisions that led you to this point. You can't sit there and say that you want some credit for being singled out for being the only woman in your friend group without a boyfriend. Those are not hard to find. They can only become difficult over time as your arbitrary standards keep rising. And now, since you can't seek the comfort in the arms of the men you desire, you're accepting applications for pity instead. And no, the ballpoint pens and self-respecting men aren't filling that one out. It's just going to lead to a case of mental carpal tunnel syndrome.
Being the chronically single friend it takes a toll. I don't really talk too much about it because it just hits home a little too hard. I would love to find my person. I would. But I refuse to be with the wrong person, so I'm taking my time. But in the meantime, it's like seeing a couple walking down the street and they're holding hands and just giggling and laughing, or, you see all of the small things that we have to see day to day. And we wish that could be us.
Oh, poor you!
Oh, come on, be serious for a second, lady. You are not taking your time. You forced yourself into this situation thanks to your recklessness. You are jealous of all of the people who didn't make terrible decisions, and now you're sitting there and imagining what it would be like to have a guy in your life, and you're focusing on the fantasy side of things. You want a man to make you happy, but that is not his job. It's your job to figure that crap out. You expect nothing less from men, so we hold you to that same standard. And if these TikTok videos where you endlessly complain about not being able to find quote-unquote your person, it isn't doing you any favors. It's just not attractive to us. A self-respecting man isn't going to be seeing your video and want to save you. You are so inept that you'll just end up trying to drown this man with you. And even if he did want to help you out, you just reject him because you're going to convince yourself that he's the wrong one for you for whatever pointless reason that you can conjure up at the moment. Either way, the end result is the same. It ends with you whining about how you can't find a guy even though they are literally everywhere. You'd just rather feel sorry for yourself than entertain the mere idea of being with somebody that's within your league.
We absolutely do. I'd love for someone to hold my hand. I would love for someone to just know that they're there for me and I'm there for them. To have that one person that's like your best friend and just knows everything and understands you. That rock, that foundation, having that love there. And then sometimes I wonder, well, what if this is it? This is life. This is my life. Maybe this is what's in the cards for me.
You're amazing. You figured this all out already.
Well, there's your problem right there, sweetheart. You have fallen in love with the idea of being in love, and that's going to be your downfall. You think that relationships are all about love and all of that saccharine crap that's so sweet it's going to give you a case of the diabetes. But the thing is, that's not exactly how relationships work. They're kind of a pain in the ass. They require work, sacrifice, and compromise, which are three things that you aren't willing to do. In your eyes, it's all about making you feel good and happy. But if you want those, you have to accept that there isn't a single man out there who's going to compliment you in every way, shape, and form. It will never be perfect, and that's why you're constantly rejecting the good men and getting rejected by everyone else at the same time. And that has nothing to do with the hand you've been dealt. I can assure you, you are a woman in Western society. You've been dealt some monster hands in the past, and you either played them horribly or you decided to wait for better hands. And both scenarios end up with you losing of your own accord. And if you want to dramatically resign yourself to your fate, then that's your call. Just don't expect us to be picking up the pieces of the mess that you made. That is totally on you, sister.
You blew it. Capiche?
I think the only type of straight man that comes close to understanding what a woman feels is a very beautiful, attractive, undeniably gorgeous man. And I don't mean someone who's subjectively gorgeous, like someone who's just gorgeous to you because they're a certain type. I feel like most straight men fall under that category, like they're a very niche type of hotness, but it doesn't mean that most people would look at them and be like, yeah, they're really good looking. But I mean the people that are like undeniably good looking, right? And these men are basically treated as if they were women by the world.
What?
You know, I hate to break it to you, sister, but you are in no position to be making commentary over the plights of any man of any kind. You lack the proper plumbing to be able to do that. Now, if we're talking about the top 5% of men, then you're just wrong. Those men are not treated like women, and that's because their aesthetic qualities have been determined to be the standard. You expect men to be like that, and it's come to the point where the average men who don't meet the standards are either creepy, broke, or pathetic incels who are hyper-violent psychopaths that you make fun of. You worship these men, you idolize these men, and you want these men to choose you over the massive army of women that he can choose from. And he is the pinnacle of masculinity. He's good looking, has good fashion sense, and he has money. You see him as masculine, which is the opposite of women who are supposed to be feminine. Which means that he is not being treated like a woman, and nor does he share your plight. He is seen as desirable by pretty much anybody. Women want him and men want to be him. And I have yet to meet a self-respecting man who wants to be a modern woman. That's just a hellish life of meaningless vanity and false hopes, and we don't want to be subjected to such psychological damage.
Meaning they're never the chaser, they only attract. A lot of these men will have never approached a woman in their life because they don't know that they're supposed to, because they're always the ones getting approached. They might be harassed a lot by all genders, and they're also heavily sexualized by the public, and they're always being used for their looks and their attractiveness. So I truly think that these kinds of straight men are the only ones that can even come close to understanding the experience of being a woman.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
Lady, no, you are just wrong. You see, men have it worse when it comes to the victimization and discrimination in the public. Most women, regardless of shape, size, or weight, can get a guy. We see it all the time. The one who discriminates is you. You treat the majority of men as if they are less than human. Men have to be insanely careful of what they say and how they act in public, lest they get put on blast by women on the internet. You can publicly shame a man in the gym for pretty much any reason, and it's considered socially acceptable for you to go up to a man and assault him by touching him in places which are incredibly inappropriate, and that man isn't allowed to feel violated. He has to take it as a compliment, a joke, or something that's not that big of a deal. And despite all of this reprehensible behavior, you get a societal pass. Men, on the other hand, will always be blamed and ridiculed. They'll be mocked by the government, shunned by society, and still be expected to do all of the work to make sure that you have the luxuries that you want and the services that you take for granted. But the only difference is that men are not allowed to point out these hypocrisies, while you're allowed to make them up on the spot whenever the hell you want. So no, the good-looking men aren't like women. It is the men who have it worse than you, sweetheart.
Shut your dirty little mouth!
I have been single literally all my life.
I'm shocked.
Okay, and I am 20 years old, but I would not have it any other way because I am looking, that's the thing, like people are like, why are you still single? Like what? I am looking for a specific relationship. A specific relationship, how I want it to be. And I am okay with being single if that means I will never get it in my lifetime. I will never settle. And I have come so far. I've been single for 20 years.
That's nothing to be proud of, Rusty.
Well, it's rather interesting how you claim to be single for 20 years, but you leave out how many men you slept with. And that's really where things come into focus there, woman. You see, you're fairly young, which is one of the biggest advantages you could ever possibly have in the dating market, and you've decided that the best course of action is to proclaim to the world that you're going to be squandering that very same advantage by being stuck up and insufferable, which is a fairly bold thing to do. You see, woman, by saying that you refuse to settle is one of the most insulting things that you could ever say to a man. First off, you're telling him that you're better than him, which you're clearly not. Second, you're acting like you're somehow this great catch when all you're doing is bragging about crap that doesn't matter. Finally, you've pretty much insulted the proud members of the illustrious bottom 95% club, which means that you have instantly made yourself unattractive to the vast majority of men out there, and you've also effectively told the top 5% of men that you're not worth the time of day because of your entitled attitude. And you think this somehow gives you power in the dating market, which, like I said, is a bold move. It's stupid, pointless, and destined to fail, but still, it's bold.
I have come so far to the point where, like, if I would settle, it would be a joke. It would be a joke. And the thing is like, people are like, your standards are too high. You have too high standards. But the thing is, I've seen, like, what I want from a relationship within other people. Like, I've seen it. I know it exists because I exist. So that's all you need, okay? But I know it exists because I've also seen it. Like, I have a specific thing I'm looking for, and I just refuse to settle. Point blank, period. Does that make me cold-hearted and heartless with men? Maybe, okay? Because I just don't entertain everybody on the block.
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
Well, hell hath frozen over, because I agree with you on that, sister. You haven't entertained everyone on the block. Just Chad, Tyrone, Raphael, Marco, Chang, Wang, Takeda, and Jasper. And they've left you with some kind of a sense of entitlement. But here's a question for you, lady. If you think that you have a chance with these men, then why aren't you with one of them? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because the relationship you want with these men are based on 30 seconds that you spend with couples and reinforced with the relationships you see on television. And nothing less than a delusional fantasy is considered a joke. But since you pretty much decided to preemptively incinerate your desirability on the dating market, I'm just going to tell you that you're going to be spending the rest of your life in complete and miserable solitude. Here's the problem. When you make these proclamations, you are telling the entire planet that you are undesirable. You're swearing, you're insulting people, and you're acting like you're better than everyone else, and I have met brain-damaged skunks with more value than you. And when you put that disaster all together with a how do you do, you're not settling for anybody. It's the men who'd be settling for you, and I have yet to meet a self-respecting man with that low of standards.
But the thing is, like, I just don't care. I have curated such a close relationship with me and myself, myself, and I, okay? It's true, though. I have such a close relationship with myself, and I have made my life to be what I've wanted it to be forever, and I give everything that I want to myself, and I have such an amazing family and amazing friends that, like, I'm not gonna settle for a stupid ass. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? But yeah.
Day and night she talks. Each word more useless than the next.
Oh, woman, nothing you have said has made any sense at all. The only thing that you've said that is that you won't settle for a stupid ass and that you have family and friends. Well, whoopity-doo, lady. I guess you got it all figured out, don't you? But it's time for you to face reality. You are freaking 20. How have you been able to curate this life when you've only been legally allowed to vote for 2 years, which is kind of scary in its own right? What have you done with your life that is so great that it gives you the right to be able to bash the majority of men for virtually no reason outside of the idea that they don't fit in with your narcissistic view on life? You claim to have created a close relationship with yourself, but I don't even see how that's even possible. You've been yammering on and on, but you have yet to say anything of any real substance. So not only are you full of yourself, and you're not only needlessly judgmental, you also have nothing of substance to say, which just proves my point. You have absolutely nothing to offer a man that he can't get for himself, and those men are going through life just fine, and none of them will ever degrade themselves to settle for your stupid ass. Does that make sense? Yeah. It really does. Oh man, you know we gotta take a moment to say thank you to the fine members of the Bounty Board whose continued generosity allows me to get you fine content every single day, and I cannot thank these fine folks enough. It is awesome to be receiving your support, and I can't thank you enough. All hail! If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment down below for you.
A powerful bitch. You are literally a powerful bitch. It's giving magnetism. How do I make him obsessed? How to make him obsessed with you? The energy of that question in and of itself is desperate energy.
Like literally that's the game. Like if you're asking that, you have so much work to do. You need to become obsessed with yourself. When you truly know that you are it, that you are amazing, that you are stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, and sexy, and whatever else, and you embody that energy and you have that magnetism and that force, when you believe it, that is what attracts it. Like that is literally what attracts it. So you need to be focusing on yourself and the relationship that you have with yourself, the feelings and the beliefs that you have about yourself. Okay?
Agatha, I really don't think this plan of yours can actually work when you're obviously single. Modern women are already obsessed with themselves, and it's gotten them virtually nowhere. We see it all the freaking time, and it's come to the point where I'm actually kind of surprised that modern women don't expect some kind of a certificate for bathing themselves correctly. And I wish I was being dramatic when I say that. Day in and day out, modern women think that because they meet the basic requirements for being an adult, that's somehow going to make men obsessed with them. And you're telling these women that they are not being obsessed enough. But Agatha, you do realize that there are precious few people who are more annoying on this earth than a self-absorbed woman, right? I mean, you and your kind rank up there with politicians who pander to the lowest common denominator and comic book geek fanboys who act snobbish because of their knowledge of Silver Surfer comics. The only reason you rank lower than that class of annoying is because at least you smell better. And that's not saying much, Agatha. The level of annoyance is only lower by about 2.5 points. And that's kind of pathetic.
When you are like, baby, you look in the mirror and you are like, damn, the power I just got from that, you are a powerful bitch. You are literally a powerful bitch. It's giving magnetism. That's what it's giving. And when you are obsessed with yourself, other people are also obsessed with you. The world mirrors back to you what you are and how you feel about yourself, okay? I don't care about anything else other than me, bitch. Do I look hot? Do I feel good? Am I having fun in my body? Am I having fun with this person? Am I laughing enough? Is this a good use of my time? Is this good use of my time? What the fuck is wrong with this side of my hair? Like, honestly. But anyways, still stunning, beautiful, amazing, and gorgeous, like still. Do you know what I mean?
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
Well, that's your problem, Agatha. You've become so self-absorbed that you pretty much think that you're the most important thing ever, that everyone else must put their self-image, their self-worth, and their personal opinions aside just because you get high off the smell of your own queefs. Now, don't get me wrong, feeling good about yourself is important, but that's not what we're talking about here. You expect the entire planet to be attracted to you, but Agatha, have you looked in the mirror lately? You are, at best, mid in the looks department, but your ranting, your raving, and your swearing and your irritating nature make you far less attractive. If you want a man to be interested in you, then you need to be friendly and peaceful. And the exact opposite of that is yelling and acting like you're the queen bee of Torture Mountain. But I have to ask, Agatha, how could your plan be so successful when it's brought you nothing but torment? I mean, think about it. You're just a carbon copy of these miserable influencers who think that the best way to get a man is to treat him like a second-class citizen who's obligated to put you on a pedestal because you're semi-good looking. But how's that worked out for you so far, Agatha? Clearly not all that great.
It's that energy. That's the energy of making other people obsessed with you. That's the key. If you want something from someone else, you have to like embody that thing first and give it to yourself. So if I want any to be obsessed with me, bitch, I am obsessed with myself. I'm literally obsessed with myself. No makeup, sweatpants, obsessed. I'm literally obsessed. That's the energy. So if you're thinking, again, because when you think about how to make him obsessed, why are you concerned about making someone else obsessed with yourself? I think it's a better use of your time for you to be obsessed with yourself. That's how you'll get everything you want. Like that's the real unlock. That's the real shift. That's what we need. We need to focus on that and not him.
Lady, you're scaring us.
Hey, Agatha, I really don't think it's a smart idea to be referring to the men you crave with the title of mother lover. It's not attractive, magnetic, and it's just plain rude. Every single thing that you've said and every single spastic movement that you have made is the opposite of attractive. It tells everybody that you're clearly on some sort of medication, and it's the wrong one. Now, because you keep screaming the word obsessed doesn't mean that you know what that word means, because obsession is kind of unhealthy. I mean, you're showing it right now. Now I get what you're saying, and that's if you want a man, you need to stop wanting him and that'll attract him. But the problem is you're still clearly obsessed over getting a man. It's your driving force. It's practically the reason why you get up in the morning. Well, that to become as annoying as humanly possible in the form of your crap advice videos, but that goes without saying. It really couldn't be more simple, Agatha. All you need to do is be friendly, feminine, and not have a body count that makes Dead Alive seem like a quaint family film. But you completely botched up all three of these, so go ahead and be obsessed with yourself, Agatha. You're the only one who is. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.